unanalyzed. For the first time in the history of philosophy, this question has been analyzed thoroughly in this life divine, as never before. According to Sri Aurobindo, this question was understood in the Veda. It was understood in the Upanishad. And this is the greatness of the Veda and the Upanishad. But Veda and Upanishads are not books of philosophy. Therefore, if you ask the question how, why and all that, you can perhaps find an answer, but not so easily, because they are not written in a philosophical manner. Therefore, although the answer may be found in the Veda, in the Upanishad, there is certainly the answer. There are indications that Vedic rishis knew the origin of ignorance. They did not declare the world to be an illusion. Veda does not say the world is illusion. The Upanishad never says that Jagrat Avastha, the Swapna Avastha, Sushupti Avastha are all illusions. They are states of consciousness. At no point does the Mandukya Upanishad say that these states are states of illusion. It's an interposition to say that these are descriptions of illusion. They are interposed upon them. They are not that. Upanishad doesn't say. It only says there are 4 states of consciousness. It doesn't say that these 3 are lower ones are illusory. Not at all. Upanishad doesn't say that. Ishopanishad says very clearly, knowledge and ignorance, when you combine together, that becomes vijanataha. Not only janataha, but vijanataha. When you have only the knowledge, or all knowledge alone, you go into greater darkness. If you know only ignorance, you go into darkness. If you know knowledge, you go into greater darkness. It is only when you know knowledge and ignorance simultaneously, then, having known ignorance, you can cross the death, and by knowledge, you attain to immortality. So, Upanishad doesn't say that knowledge and ignorance are absolutely opposite of each other, as it is made out. They are not. There is a connection between the two. There is origin of ignorance. There is a connection, there is a link. This truth, which has never been explained and brought out fully, explicitly, for the first time you get it into the life divine. And that is one of the greatest utilities of this work. Not only as a work of philosophy, but also as a work of yoga. Unless you know the origin of ignorance, you cannot remedy it. It's only when you know the origin, you can cut it out. The root can be cut out properly. So, having done that, having understood the ignorance, then the one problem which has remained inexplicable in all religions, the problem of pain, evil, suffering. How does it arise? Only in the context of ignorance this problem can be resolved. If you do not understand the origin of ignorance, you cannot dissolve the origin of evil in this world. So this whole section is an entirely new light in Indian philosophy. It is something that has never been touched upon in such detail as in this work. And then, having described all this, you come to the last portion. Having described this ignorance and the right meaning of it, Sri Aurobindo describes what is called integral knowledge. Not only knowledge, but integral knowledge. This concept of integral knowledge is very important. It brings us back again to the Upanishad, Vijanataha. The reality is to be known integrally. when ignorance is removed, ignorance, Sri Aurobindo says, is multi-sided. Ignorance is not one-sided, it is multi-sided. So when ignorance is removed, multi-sided ignorance is removed by multi-sided knowledge. So knowledge is an integral knowledge. The concept of knowledge in Sri Aurobindo is a multi-sided or integral knowledge. And Sri Aurobindo says that supermind is integral knowledge. And when we say that ultimate manifestation of supermind, that supermind is the manifestation of multi-sided integral knowledge. So this entire section, the last portion of the Life Divine, is actually a description of reality and integral knowledge. Then, as a result of integral knowledge, you can determine the real aim of life. This is a real question that we start with. All human beings want to know what is the aim of life. Why are we here? That question can be answered only at that stage. When we have analyzed the whole world, whole universe, our place in the world, the place of ignorance, the way in which ignorance can be removed, then only we can understand what is the aim of life. And then, the next chapter is the progress to knowledge. How do you move from here to there? The real remedy of ignorance. And that involves evolutionary process. And as a result of evolutionary process, you come out of sevenfold ignorance to sevenfold knowledge. When I said Sri Aurobindo speaks of multi-sided ignorance, he speaks of sevenfold ignorance and opens the path to sevenfold knowledge. It is in that connection that individual now comes into focus. What am I? And for that Sri Aurobindo gives three important chapters: the philosophy of rebirth, the order of the worlds, and rebirth and other worlds, karma, soul, and immortality. These three are extremely important for every individual to know what he is, what is his pilgrimage in this world, what are the stations of his pilgrimage, how can he migrate, how can he transmigrate, how can he work on the earth, and how can he work on the earth for the full fulfillment. It is in that context that you can really understand man's place in evolution. Man as an individual and man as a member of the species. In its twofold aspect. Man as an individual and man as a part of the species of humanity. And then the last chapters are the actual description. It's a kind of a philosophy of yoga. Spiritual evolution, the evolution of spiritual man, the triple transformation, how you can transform yourself fully. Once you know the remedy once you know the origin of ignorance, you can know the remedy of ignorance. And when you have the remedy of it, you have the real path. And that path, Sri Aurobindo is described as the path of triple transformation. And that triple transformation involves ascent to supermind, the descent of the supermind, and a vision of the new man, the superman, the Gnostic man, the divine life on the earth. And the last chapter is the divine life. Well, this is the scheme of the whole book. And of course we cannot go through the whole book unless we have 2-3 years to go through. But within 3-4 days that we are still here, we shall try to do at least 2nd, 3rd and 4th chapters. For today, we can stop here today.